your thoughts. So many people have dreams of being published, writing their own books, things like that. You made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to make you feel good, right?
Yeah, it feels amazing, actually. I always wrote stories, and my dad, I don't really let anybody read them. I kind of just keep them to myself and read them whenever I get bored. And I think my dad snuck a peek at one of them whenever I left it out, and he told me that I should write a book with my stories. And I was like, I already do that. I actually have a lot written already. And he's like, well, let's start doing it. So he's been helping me a lot, making sure I stay on track and don't get distracted and everything.
How long of a process was this? I mean, does this span a couple of years, 3 years, 10 years?
Well, I think
it took a while to write it and correlate with pictures. Right?
Yeah, well, I had most of my pictures taken already because I've been taking photo at Harrison since my sophomore year, first semester. So that's been going on since then. And I have pictures in my book from first semester of photo ever. And the story has kind of been going on and off for like the last year, but most of them that are in there have been written since January.
And the basis for a lot of these, I mentioned Bailout, the one that I read before we came up here, but just a lot of different topics, just kind of random thoughts in your head, kind of based on the pictures type thing, or is it just, ideas rolling around in that brain of yours?
They're based on the picture. Whenever I look at a picture, I always get sucked into it, especially if it's a really good one. So I kind of think of what happened to whatever's in the picture. Like there's one titled Reflection in there, and it's of this old barn I found just driving around in the country with one of my friends who's also in photo with me. And I absolutely fell in love with the picture. I'm not quite sure which one, exactly why, but every time I look at it, I always think, what happened to this barn? Because you can tell it hasn't been touched in years, because it's falling apart and the wood's all warped. And so that's kind of how that one came about. It's just, I wonder what happened. So
One of the best things about it, I think, coming from where we live, is the fact that, a lot of these pictures, I see one from Tennessee, but Battleground, Rossville, Chalmers, Lafayette, these are all local pictures that you've applied. It's really cool how you kind of intermingle the pictures locally.
Yeah.
By a local young lady.
Yep. Most of them are taken in Indiana. I think there's one or two that's been taken in Tennessee or Kentucky, but that's because I went on a vacation over the summer, and those are just two that I absolutely fell in love with again. And
your favorite picture, I'm guessing, is the one for Reflection. I'm trying to look it up as we're talking here.
I'm not quite sure where it's at in there.
But as far as, there it is.
Yep.
Is this your favorite poem to go along with it? Or is there something else in there, your favorite, I guess, overall piece in 1,001 words?
I'm not really sure which one's my favorite because, they're all so close to my heart, and I just can't pick one that I absolutely love. But probably the one that hits close to home is the Bailout one that talks about all the teacher cuts, because I have two of my teachers that I currently have this semester that have gotten cut. And the way I actually saw during my Algebra 2 class, my teacher was actually pulled out and told she was not going to have her job, and whenever she came back in, you could tell she was completely upset. And you could tell that it was hard to go through with her lesson that she had for us that day. And my photo teacher, actually, he's one of the teachers who got cut, and I feel really bad because he just had a baby last semester, first semester, and it's just incredible because of all the budget cuts and stuff here at Harrison and in TSC. I always think about the underclassmen and the people for AP Photo and AP Art next year. Are they actually going to get to do everything that we did? Because we take a trip to Chicago, and I'm guessing they're probably not going to be able to get to do that next year.
And that could have a monumental effect on them publishing their own works.
Yeah.
That type of thing have a pretty big ripple effect.
Oh, yeah. And because the school also pays for a lot of the competitions that we enter in AP, and there's some of them that we pay $10. But, the AP test that we do at the end of the year, if the school didn't pay for most of that, that would be $85 just for that one. And we entered, I think, about 6 this year. So just for that one would be $85. I have a friend who, she couldn't afford it. There's a couple of people that I know, they could not afford it if the school didn't help. So.
And yet, with all the teacher woes and the cutbacks and everything like that, I was reading somewhere, I think it was an email that was sent to our newsroom. You want to be a teacher.
Yes.
It's kind of a weird twist, don't you think?
Yeah.
With the cuts kind of hitting your, especially photography, hitting really close to home, you kind of want to jump into that.
Yeah.
Prawn-infested water.
Yep, I'm a cadet teacher, so I go over to Burnett Creek for an hour a day and teach a class over there. And while I was in the workroom copying papers, a teacher came up to me and said, "Are you still wanting to be a teacher after all these cuts?" And I told her yes. And she looked at me like I was completely nuts. Like, why would I want to do something that I know is not going to have a job? But I'm hoping in the next 4 to 6 years that they realize, maybe we shouldn't have cut all these teachers. Classes of 40 aren't really good for students learning. So I'll be able to get a job pretty quickly after I graduate from college.
That'd be fantastic. What do you hope people get out of the book when they buy it? First off, where can they get it? Is it over at the old Barnes & Noble? Is it at Borders? Or is it strictly online right now?
It's strictly online right now. I'm actually working with my publishing company on getting it into Barnes & Nobles. I have a website, which is HaleyDignan.com,
Okay.
and they can order it on there. And then I'm also getting several copies that a lot of people that I've talked to say they either don't have a credit card to put online or they don't want to put their credit card online. So I'll be selling my book through myself. They can get it from me.
But as far as what you'd like them to get when they read through your poems corresponding with the pictures, is there a word that comes to mind you hope that they grasp after they read these?
Not a specific word, but I'm just hoping that they realize that, because there's some people who love art and they don't think they're good at it because nobody else has complimented them on their work. And that doesn't mean it's not good. It just means that they don't see it the same way they do. It's just, I want people to realize that there's more than one perspective to art. Just because one person doesn't like it doesn't mean that it's terrible. It just means they don't see it the same way you do.
Anything else you'd like to add? If you were nervous, you're not showing it at all. Anything else you'd like to add, Nathan? I'm not sure if you have anything. I know that was all the questions I had. These are phenomenal pictures, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, in the back it has the models in there. All the stories in there are fictional. They are not true.